Welcome back to the channel and episode 14. This episode finds me leaving the Nordkapp and with a not exactly deflated feeling. It's a different feeling. The excitement has kind of dropped off. And what goes up must go down. And you know what? It's a funny thing. Doing this trip in the other direction, it looks completely different. Completely different vistas. We still have our friends on the road, but it's completely different.
I scared him away, I think.
And to be honest, I'm really glad now that I'm heading downhill because you use a lot less petrol and it's getting tight again. I know how many kilometres I can do on a tank. It's usually around the 220, 230, but here, because you're up and down around the corners and that kind of thing, you can't regulate your speed as easily as you perhaps normally would. And the next petrol station, for me, the closest, is here in Hammerfest. So I just decided, after another drama with a petrol station not accepting my card, I would stay here and sort it all out in the morning. What a great place. And again, I slept like a log. This was the sleep in Hammerfest. So after a huge breakfast, I've woken up to this beautiful weather yet again. Heading in the general direction of Norway. I say in the general direction because I'm not quite sure how far I'm going to get today. Weather's good, brilliant. In fact, couldn't ask for better. Only I want to go to Lofoten. And I want to take a slightly different route than just the E6. I need to get off the E6. Absolutely, desperately need to get off the E6. So my first accommodation is going to be off the E6. And see, look at the road. Boom! Yeah, that. Loads of roads without asphalt. However, the views, just like this, I mean, with the sun now being on the other side of my view, I'm getting a completely different feeling. It's beautiful up here, and whether you're looking at mountains or looking at fields, it's beautiful. And you have that continuous low light, that sunlight, that sort of the golden hour sunlight. But it's continuous, so it just makes everything look even more beautiful than it actually was in the very beginning. It's just the light is just an improvement, if that's possible. See, if you look at the trees here, I'm not sure what I'm actually looking at. If those trees, they were all kind of bare. They do say actually that reindeer are pretty destructive in the forest. They're actually seen as pests a bit, as much as they're pretty cute. I was just wondering if those trees that I was seeing were sort of damaged trees, because there was no foliage at the bottom half, so maybe it's to do with the wildlife. Not seeing it anywhere else, so interesting. I've seen a lot. I've ridden a lot of mountain roads and mountain areas, and Croatia is mountainous, and you have the sea and the mountains. But this is a completely different landscape again. I think it's because you've got the combination of the sea, the fjords are all tidal, and the dramatic, look at the way that the rock rises up sort of out of the water. Actually, it's not like that, is it? You know, the rocks were there and the water just collected in the lowest places, but it's dramatic in that way, that you see the mountains and then like this, like water, it's like flat, and then boom, huge rising mound of rock. And it almost seems like they're all individual rocks. I know that sounds strange, but normally a mountain range, it's like one lump and there are peaks on it. This looks like all the peaks are individual and that it isn't one big mass of rock, that they're all individual. It's a funny thing. It's dramatic and it's beautiful, and the light is making it incredibly gorgeous to ride here. It's about 22, 23 degrees, just perfect riding conditions, absolutely perfect. They don't make it easy. I mean, this was a pull-in. There aren't actually that many. I mean, it is quiet on the road, but you don't want to stop in the middle of the road. I mean, it's still only 2 lanes, so, But when you see somewhere to stop, you have to do it. If it's a place you want to take photos of. But unfortunately, a lot of the places where you see the best waterfalls, there's no place to stop, which is a real shame. Because that's when you get the best, the best possibilities to, opportunities, I should say, to photograph things. I film all the time. Sometimes to be honest, I just can't be bothered to stop. And in Norway, there's so much of it, it's continual. So you just think, oh, well, if I stop here, there'll be another one in 5 minutes, which is true. See, this is what I mean about off-road. Right, from this moment, I've let this clip run purely to let you see how far off-road this actually was. And there's off-roading and there's off-roading. And this was terrible, because a lot of these rocks are actually like embedded rock. They're not rocks that just kind of fell there. No, they're part of the bedrock. So you suddenly hit something that you're expecting to move and it doesn't. This was terrible. It's absolutely awful, and it's not over yet. You can see the house in the distance. That's where the people that own the camping here, that's where they live. And we're not there yet. This is funny. Yep. Reception. I've been a long way, but it is absolutely so worth it. Look at this. And I'm the only one here again. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I've stayed in a lot of accommodations, but this, I think, probably topped. This is certainly in the top 3 of all of the accommodations that I used while I'm making this road trip. This is probably maybe even in the top 2. Takes a lot of beating. And I'm not a hunter, but I believe those to be reindeer prints. And there are no fences here, so they come to the river to drink, which is logical in this area. Look at the weather. Look at the weather. So yeah, it has to be done. If there's a place to make a fire, I'm there. And they encourage it too, because there's a shed that's got a couple of pallets of firewood, and one of the things that she said to me when the check-in is like, if you feel like making a fire, help yourself to wood. So I did. Don't have to be asked twice. And what a gorgeous place to have my dinner. Beautiful. Oh, and something else here, something I was expecting. Bugs. We're next to a river, we're in the forest, and this is actually a farm too. No bugs, no flies. I haven't seen anything, I haven't even seen a spider. So I'm glad about that, by the way, because I don't like spiders. But that's a surprise. I was expecting there to be more flies, bugs, but there aren't. It's almost bug-free. Amazing. And we are, of course, above the Arctic Circle still. This is as dark as it's going to get. I have my lights on in the cabin because it is actually an evening. It is evening. This was at around 11 o'clock, 11:30 maybe in the evening. And so blocking the light out is something that I need to do every evening before I attempt to sleep. I need a dark room to sleep. Probably wrong place to be, isn't it, really? In Norway, in the middle of the summer. The only place in the world pretty much where the sun doesn't go down. There's no running water directly in the cabin. So when I asked about it, the owner said, oh, you can drink the water from the river, but we've set up a tap and it's attached to this tree. You can fill your kettle, etc. from the tree. Which is, of course, what I did. Why would I question that? Yeah, this angle not only shows you how rough the path is, but it's also showing testimony to the cameras I'm using. I'm using actually only a GoPro 10. I lent a GoPro 11 to a friend of mine whose battery melted in hers, so story attached to that. However, so I'm using 10s, and I'm really happy with the results. Very stable, and I think that's why I enjoy making the films like this, because I know that the stability, there's no like handshake and everything. The stability of the cameras is everything, and the Ryker is an excellent camera mount, don't you think? Yes, I don't want to complain about the sun because it's with me and I've still got blue skies. However, after a couple of hours of riding directly into the sun, it can get quite tiring. So these kind of conditions where it's a little bit overcast, well, it's not overcast at all really, but where you have cloud actually does give you respite now and again. However, it's also not a good sign because knowing how quickly the weather changes here, I should be really fully, completely, utterly ready for anything now, because in Norway the weather changes so fast. It's making me nervous seeing clouds like this. I'm just hoping it's going to pass and it's maybe going overhead and heading north, and that it will leave me with clear skies. The eternal optimist. And as much as they're all mountains, I'm starting to notice the difference in the rock formations. Look how extreme. It seems more extreme than the mountains that I've been passing. And that's a good sign, because that means that I'm getting closer to the Lofoten area. So I need to take a boat or two, and I found a camping, and I will be spending just one night and then heading off towards an island first, just above Lofoten. My plan is to spend more time in certain areas that you wouldn't normally take the time to visit, and I'm getting quite excited about it. It's just a shame. I'm looking at the sky and looking at all the cloud now and hoping that I'm still going to get good weather for Lofoten, because that would be a real shame, you know. And then you start thinking about the places that you stayed 2 nights at, and if you'd only stayed 1 night you would have got better weather. Well, that's the gamble, and you continually take that gamble with this kind of tour. So you can see that's pretty much where my accommodation is tonight, and this is what I was treated to. You still get to park next to the house. This is absolutely gorgeous. A long way away from my hut last night, similar setup, but such a difference in atmosphere. I need to get away from the madding crowds. However, this is what I woke up to. So if you want to find out what kind of weather I had to ride in, you better subscribe, and that way you're going to be one of the first people to find out. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I hope you enjoyed the film. Until the next time.